Alrighty, so while the power is still currently on at my house, although there's been times where it's been kind of flickering a little bit, and I'm hoping it's going to stay on because right now there's a lot of people that is affected by a power outage because of this brutal storm that is blowing by in the Bay Area. I want to talk about something that I was going to talk about in my upcoming News of the Week episode. In fact, that was my first big topic to talk about in the News of the Week episode, but it's just exploded to a way where I can't just simply mention it in the News of the Week episode. I have to do a video talking about this, and that, of course, is the Gregg Berhalter situation and how yesterday there was a report suggesting that Gregg Berhalter could be in some hot water because there was someone that decided to blackmail him in terms of the fact that they were digging on information about something that he did back in the 90s where he basically kicked what is now his current wife and committed domestic abuse. And when we first heard of that, that was kind of interesting that it was brought up, and in some ways there's been some mixed opinions about this. A lot of people said that this is kind of weird, the fact that someone would decide to kind of blackmail him and dig up something that is just so long ago. And in some sense that I think many people have said that it's kind of not really on Gregg Berhalter in a way where it's going to get him enough to get fired because, first of all, this happened 30 years ago. This happened when he was still a teenager. And we know as life goes, we all make mistakes at some part of our life. And it's all about kind of learning from some of our mistake and growing up, feeling remorse about those mistakes that we made. And certainly Gregg Berhalter have said multiple times that he definitely have shown some remorse, and he definitely made a huge mistake when he decided to do that back in the 90s. But then today there was definitely some new information about this, and we actually now find out who exactly was the person that decided to blackmail Gregg Berhalter and decided to bring up that information. And in some way, I think the person that decided to bring this up was not a big surprise because there's even some reports saying that it might be from Claudio Reyna or the Reyna family that might have been the one that decided to reach out to the U.S. Soccer Federation and decided to say that, hey, I found something about Gregg Berhalter that he did something bad in the 90s, and you need to definitely investigate in terms of that situation. And lo and behold, that is exactly what happened. As today it was announced that indeed it looks like actually it was, I don't think it was Claudio Reyna that was the one that basically decided to basically dig up on this information. Well, actually I think he was part of it along with his wife. And again, I think the reason why the Reyna family decided to do this is because of the situation regarding his son and his time during the World Cup, where we talked about before, where during the World Cup Gio Reyna was pretty much a no-show, mainly due to the fact that he was having some attitude problem, and he was definitely not training to a point where Gregg Berhalter would feel like he deserved to get any minutes during the World Cup. And we have already heard about the situation of the fact that Reyna was kind of frustrated with the way how Berhalter kind of mentioned the fact that he wasn't going to get a lot of minutes in a public event, and that basically kind of threw him off in a way where, again, he was not showing the effort he needs to kind of prove his manager role. And I've already mentioned this before. What I definitely did not expect to see is some revenge plot that is going on right now, and that, again, this is something that I've seen this happen before, maybe in other sports, but this is something that I don't think I've seen before in terms of this situation that we've seen in U.S. soccer. And again, it just, I also feel like it's kind of shocking the fact that it has kind of released so publicly like that, because when you hear these kind of information, you usually don't hear this in public, and that especially with the way that is pretty clear that the Reyna families are trying to put a revenge plot on Gregg Berhalter there. That is something that is just kind of completely overblown. But yeah, this is going to be interesting to see how U.S. soccer is going to deal with it, and especially with the way that, again, they are hiring a investigation firm in terms of looking into this. And in some way, I've also have heard that there's a report saying that, yeah, Claudio Reyna, he did talk to Ernie Stewart about this situation. Ernie Stewart, of course, being one of the top executives in the U.S. Soccer Federation, and he have mentioned the fact that, hey, if this situation gets completely continue to get worse in terms of the Gio Reyna situation in the World Cup, and especially with the way that I think you can also say that maybe the Reyna family feel like Gio Reyna got the wrong end of the stick, and feel that it was kind of frustrated that he eventually was on the have to play the kind of the culprit role and have to kind of apologize. That they just kind of want to leash that information out, and that therefore that of course is the case. But again, I just feel like this is kind of ridiculous, the fact that we seen this situation, and now there's that question of the fact that what is Gio Reyna's future with the U.S. men's national team, and I wonder if Gio Reyna even know about this situation that his family decided to plot so that they can of course get some revenge from what happened. Because again, at the end of the day, I don't know why they decided to do this. I mean, I get it. It must be frustrating if you're a parent, and especially you talk to your kids about that. But I've not seen it before where it has just gone so overblown like that they're just straight on trying to create a bit of a revenge kind of plot by deciding to blackmail Gregg Berhalter and simply remove him from his position because they decided to dig up of something that he did about 30 years ago. But either way, it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen with Gio Reyna, and that again, you wonder, does this maybe damage Gio Reyna career or his reputation with the national team? Because again, if let's say Gregg Berhalter eventually does get removed and the next head coach of course comes in, then yeah, it doesn't mean that of course will guarantee that Gio Reyna will get more minutes, because that basically sends a message that the fact that the Reyna family, they have a lot of power in terms of the way that, hey, if you don't decide to play our sons, we're gonna dig up something bad to you, even if it's an allegation, and that you could basically be removed. And again, this is also kind of the sad thing about nowadays, not only in soccer, but just in sports in general, where sometimes parents could be a little bit entitled in terms of the way they guard their kids and stuff like that. And that, I think this could be interesting to see how, of course, eventually play out. And also, what about Claudio Reyna and the fact that, especially I've heard a lot about how, is this going to affect his position with Austin FC, and especially with the way that this is going to get awkward with the way that Anthony Precourt, who currently owns Austin FC, is good friends with Gregg Berhalter. This is something that is going to be a little bit awkward when you realize that it was Reyna the person that of course he currently is the employees of the team is going to have this allegation, because again we'll see whether that of course affect anything with the Austin FC situation. Like, I think it probably would not be related to that, but some people say that it could definitely be overblown. And I think another thing that I want to also say that is kind of crazy to see is that both Claudio Reyna and Gregg Berhalter, it's not like the fact that both of these guys have hated each other. I mean, both of these guys has been long-time friend. They mentioned before they went to the same high school and college, and that both of them are lifelong friends, and that this is just absolutely shocking. The fact that when you have a long-time friend like that, and all of a sudden you decided to kind of just completely ruin that friendship just because your son aren't able to get enough minutes in the World Cup. I mean, that's something that it is just completely out of left field, and that it just makes this situation even more shocking than what it is. But as we'll see in these upcoming days, whether or not if Gregg Berhalter indeed is probably going to have to resign because of this situation. But overall, there's been a lot of opinion, and I think most of the opinions from what I heard has been on Gregg Berhalter's side, and that they have really kind of condemned the Reyna family, or not condemn them is the right word, but really kind of just really criticized in terms of how the Reyna families are handling this situation, and how what they did. This was just completely out of order, and that again, this is something that I didn't think that it was going to happen, even from what we heard about yesterday. But yeah, now it of course it will play out. We'll see how of course eventually it would play out to a way where there's gonna be multiple people in this incident that their lives and their careers could be changed. I mean, for Gregg Berhalter, we'll see whether or not if this incident might lead to him not getting a new contract because of his contract being expired, and then also of course, or especially Gio Reyna, what is his future now with the national team because of this tainted legacy that unfortunately his family basically decided to make a big deal of it. But let me know in the comments below, what do you think about this incident? And that again, this is something that I know some people might say that could be secretly a good thing, because we have always seen other soccer federation around the world that have some sort of scandal that is just kind of blown out of proportion. But let me know in the comments below, what do you think of this incident? And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys like, smash the subscribe button, and yeah, I of course will see you guys next time.